Hello and welcome back, guys. Yes, so let's deal with the single post view. So if I click here on read, we get to this, but this isn't looking so much like a single post view. So one way to do it, there are several ways to do it. One way we do it is by creating another page here, and if I right click on Razor Shop folder and save this page as single.php. So I'll just say this is the single page, like so. So if I now click on read more, I go to this is the single page. So it finds that single page and loads it instead. Okay, so pretty cool. Now another way to do this is to delete the single page. Let's delete that guy and go to our home page and use that instead. And so what we will do is we look at what we need to view when it comes to the single page. So we need the navigation, but we don't need the slider. And also we need this post area here. Okay, so yeah, we can do that. So what will happen is this. On the slider, I can just say if is home because it's only viable on the home page. So I'll say if is home like this. Okay, so if it is the home page, let's display the slider control. So I'll right click, refresh, and let's click here now. So you see now we go to this page without the slider because we are not on the home page. Okay, like that. And then we could do the same thing here and do if is home or if is single. If it's a single page, then we're going to load in of the template. So in the template here, I'm going to just say this is a post, right? Let me copy everything here and create a new file in template parts, paste. Now I'll save this one as a single-post, like so, .php. Okay, so this is for the single post. So in here, what I would do is I'll remove the max width and height so that it can stretch as much as it wants. Okay, then here on the post thumbnail, you can actually add some args here, some arguments. So we'll see how we can do that. And then if we go back to the index page, I can redo this if right here, the if statement. If instead of is home, we're going to use if is single. So let me duplicate this too. If single, we do that. Otherwise, we do an else, like so. So if it is single, we'll use the single post version. If not, we'll use this. So if I now refresh on the single, you see that now it has stretched. I go back here, everything is fine. If I click here, it has now stretched. And then what I can also do in the single post itself, I don't need to use the post preview. I want to use the original one, which is called post thumbnail, I think, is it? But don't worry if you type the wrong one, it will just default to the default, which is the post thumbnail anyway. So there we go. Now it shows the full image right here. So back to the home, so read more, and there we go. This one is quite large. It's going over that section here. So what I want to do is, okay, we'll fix that in a minute. So I just wanted to show you that you can do this, okay? But I think it's much cleaner to use a single page. Now, the problem is we will need all this to be copied to the single page. Now, every time you're copying code twice, then you're doing something wrong. So what I want us to do is put all this up to the body and up to here. We put all this in another file called header. So I'm just going to cut all this out for now, and then put some PHP tags here instead. Look at that. I hate when it does that. And then I'll just use a function called getHeader. Now, what this function does is it just looks for a file named header in the main folder and then loads it. So you don't need to use this though, the getHeader. You can use getTemplate part and put your header somewhere and it will still work. It's just that this is a conveniently added function that looks for a specific file called header. So I'm just going to put new and paste everything in here like so. And of course I will need to close this PHP tag over here like that. The reason it's looking like this is let's see, header.php. So put this in the main folder. Okay, cool. So in the same way we can use getFooter and get the rest of this down here. So yep, cut that and let's use a PHP get footer like so. Okay, so create a new file, paste that information, save, and call it footer.php. Save. So let's see that we haven't broken anything. Okay, now I don't want any images going over their intended container. So what I'll do is in the CSS, style.css, I want to add a style here. And this style is all the images, right? All the images, I want a maximum width of 100% so that no image will go over its own container. So refresh and nothing is happening. So the reason that nothing is happening is because just because this is a style.css, we have to include it as well. It's not included automatically just because it reads this information. So what we need is go back to our functions.php and then queue our script. So we're enqueuing the style rather. So make sure that your main style is main or custom style or something. Custom style. That's the ID. So make sure it comes last after Bootstrap so that it has the final say. So here it's in the home page. So right about here, we just type style.css. So we have to include it as well. So if I now include it, the image is stretched to capacity and it has been smooshed, unfortunately. So if I go back to style, I want to do the same thing for height. Max height is 100%. And it doesn't seem to have worked at all. So let me forget about that. That is all good. Now let's come back to the single post here. Now here on the post thumbnail, you can add some arguments here. So now these arguments are an array of what do you call this? It's an array of attributes. Okay, so any attributes you want to add, because this thing echoes an entire image tag, not just the link, but an entire image tag. So to add some attributes, you have to do it from here. So the attribute I want to add is style, obviously, and I'll put the arrow to point, and then so I'll put a comma in case I want to add more attributes here, like class name. If you want to add a class, you can add a class here. So that's up to you. But for now, I want a style. So the style is width. Let's try 50%, and then height 50%. Let's see how that works. Refresh. Okay. So maybe the height should be 100%. I'm not really sure why this is smooshing like this. Okay, so that's better. And what else? In this thing, I want text center. Text center, so I can center everything here. Refresh. Okay, cool. But this thing isn't being centered, so maybe let me change its display to inline block. That should help it recognize itself as part of the text, but it doesn't work at all. So let's remove this. Maybe instead what we need is justify content center, since this is Flexbox. Since Bootstrap uses Flexbox now, so maybe that'll work. Apparently not. What is going on, my friend? What is going on? Okay, so centering doesn't work. What should work then? Okay, what I'll do is maybe let me add this inside a div. Put this inside a div and add some styles to the div. Text align, center. Does that work? Okay, finally we get some result. Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to the home. Read. Okay, there we go. Very cool. Maybe I don't need to see the box, so I'll remove the shadow and the border like this, and the margins I don't need either. So save this and refresh. Okay, so maybe card still adds a border somehow, so let's remove that. Okay, good. At least now it's just a plain old image and the file. So even here I want to center things, so I'll go to post.php and I want to say text center like that, so I can center the text in here. Okay, that is pretty good. Now we are using the single page. So instead of what we did in the header here where we ask is home, etc, etc, anyway, this will leave. But on this part right here, I want to remove all of this if statement and leave it be. Go back here. Okay, so now it's back to normal, but then I want to copy everything from here and create the single page instead. So refresh, new, save this and say single.php, save, paste. And then here I'll change that to single post like so. And then since we'll never need the slider here, I can just remove that if statement. I don't need it. Okay, so we are good now. If I now refresh and click on this, okay, things are working as planned. Or are they? Why is it so small? Oh, it's just a small image. Okay, my bad. Okay, so that's how you handle the single page system. So we've just added a single.php instead of putting if statements on the index page, even though we can do that, but I want to keep things as less complicated as possible. So a single page here, and the reason I liked using get header and get footer is so that if I edit the header here, instead of copying this actual content, if I edit it here, it's updated automatically on the single and on the index page. Okay, so so far so good. We'll continue in the next video.